Don't act like that. Don't act like we didn't just record 17 fucking minutes of this shit.
It's all good.
Okay. Okay, it's good. It's good. It's good. The TCG. The TCG. I'm not sure if you know this, but I wanted to talk about that. And I actually had like a list of things to talk about. Just want everyone know that my friend here, Spencer, he's come to have our very first podcast together, and I'm happy to have him be here. I know that Spencer has his own channel. I'm not sure if he's using this goofy ass thumbnail picture for his channel, but if you want to, if you wanted to plug it right here, I'll make sure I put it in the description, and you can I don't know, tell us a little bit about it if you want.
Yeah, so I primarily stream fighting games, but I also looking into doing like digital art and graphic stuff. But my channel is TwisparxxFGC, TwisparxX, capital FGC. If anybody wants to come, like, just chill, hang out, like I'm normally just chilling, playing the game, like just listening to Spotify, just talking and shit. Like, so, hit me up, come hang out.
All right, nice. I know I'll be checking it out. So the TCG experience, I can tell you, I like the pretty cards. I like the colors. I like the art. It hits every time, almost every time.
Have to. Every time.
It hits
Every
so
time.
hard. It's been redone, because it's just too artful. Sometimes the female form can be a little too titillating. And it's like, this art is too good. We gotta dumb it down a little. Make it worse.
Make it worse. Make it look ugly.
It's ugly now.
No, I kid you not. I convince you if you made a card look ugly as fuck, but you gave it a broken ability, nobody would.
I don't know. Maybe it make people talk about it more.
I mean, maybe, but it's like, unless you're just somebody that really just doesn't care and they're like, hey, I want to win. Like some people are like that. Some people are like,
yeah,
I just want to fucking ball, right?
Some people want to fuck you. All right, I come to play the game. Some people come to the table to fuck you. It's just how it is. It's true.
Like, some people just come to take your bag and take their bag and fucking leave, right? So it's like they don't care how the cards look.
No, that's for real though. That's where we were talking about that. I am convinced, okay, that the only way to really get good at card games, at children's card games, is to play the game enough to hate the game, and then have to do everything you need to do to make sure nobody else plays the game ever again. To make them hate it as much as you hate it.
It's only your turn.
Turn one, I win. That's the game I play. I don't see how that's really fair or fun. I think kind of missing the point.
It's
personally.
Fun for the other person. Like, you gotta think about it like that. It's fun for the person doing it.
It's fun for the person doing the fucking. Don't make me.
For real though. Like, because think about it like this, right? Where it's like,
fucking compassion for my attacker.
Yeah, like, look, compassion for the person you're playing with, sportsmanship. Look, that handshake at the end. Don't fucking
start with that. Don't give me that shit. I don't want to hear that shit, Spencer. Sportsmanship. Sportsmanship is my turn, then your turn. You see what I mean? You see how there's a dichotomy there? Give him a fucking chance.
Sportsmanship. Hey, good games, champ.
But I don't know what you expect. I guess the same thing as might as well be going to the Olympics and they getting pissed off for being washed. Dusted.
The thing is that the people who play these games know exactly what they signed up for.
To get washed.
Yes, they signed up to get washed, and they signed up to play against broken shit all the time.
To no defeat.
Yes,
I can respect that. No, that's like the same energy I have for playing Pokemon Showdown, because I haven't played it in a while. I want to get back on it. I want to make videos about it. But yeah, in
Yeah.
Pokemon Showdown, I mean, they have lots of rules, just like the TCG, and it keeps changing, and that's bullshit. But yeah, like that. I would play. I think I would probably go and play Yu-Gi-Oh if I could pick my own cards. Like all
Right.
of them and everything. I'm not sure if that's like really super duper thing, and I'm not even into Yu-Gi-Oh. And I mean, I'm a fan. It's just it's been so long since I played. You understand?
Nah, I get that. Like, I mean, so me and my roommate actually played Yu-Gi-Oh for like since high school. Like, I was in like 10th grade, he was like a freshman, and like we had another friend we used to play with at lunch. This was back when Dragon Rulers were a thing. Like, fucking, because I played Yu-Gi-Oh extensively. In that meta, like the 2013 meta when like Madolches came out and windups were still fucking tearing up everything. So it's like, you know, you play that game to get to do very specific things to people. And you know what I mean? You play that game to want to have dominance. Like, at least as far as the meta was concerned back then, to have dominance over something. You know
Yeah,
what I
I
mean?
can see that.
Like, yeah, and it's like Yu-Gi-Oh, like, for what it's worth, actually is a fun game. It's just like
I
the
know that I bought into the freaking swagger of Yami Yugi back in the day. I wanted to fucking draw my card, fucking draw
facts,
that shit
facts,
out, fucking put that
facts.
shit down like a pimp. Fucking
Yo,
yes, I felt that
yes.
every turn I made. I would lose every game, but I would fucking just riz up the person I'm playing every time with that shit.
Yo, I kid you not. Like, I wanted to play competitive Yu-Gi-Oh before I even knew like what competitive Yu-Gi-Oh was. Like, I used to be
You just knew
on
you
the
wanted to be in the tournament.
yeah, like, so when I was on the bus when I was in school, right, I used to get mad at people when I would play and they would like, they just wouldn't care about the rules of the game.
They
They
would
were just
play
playing
like they
for
do in the
entertainment.
anime.
Right, like they play in the anime. They just fucking slap the card down immediately, bro. That's not how that
This is
works.
how this works, and they explain to you how you're
Like,
losing right now.
like, yo, I used to be like so tilted. It's just like, bro, like nobody actually wants to fucking play the game with me. And then I went to high school, and turns out everybody plays this shit. So I'm like, yo, like, so my friend Patrick at the time essentially like teaches me what like competitive Yu-Gi-Oh was. And I'm sitting over here like, damn, like, because okay, the first hurdle isn't picking the type of deck you want to play or anything like that. It is picking the type of deck, but it's like, how much money am I willing to spend on this?
There it
Right?
is.
Like,
Now we get
like,
to the middle of the strawberry maze, and
yeah,
I think it's amazing that I'm not sure if they even realize this, considering like with context. The author of Yu-Gi-Oh, God rest his soul, rest in power.
rest in peace.
Um, I'll tell you, that guy, he ended up creating the exact archetype of of the people you might find, who would be interested in playing card games. Because in the manga, that wasn't the first, like idea that came up about what they were doing in there. But eventually, everything changed as soon as Kaiba came into the story, and Kaiba, of course, being rich, would be the perfect rival for Yugi, who is just like he just built different in the mind. He's just crazy like that. You know, is a whole archetype. Someone who can just buy their own cards, buy all the best cards.
Right, right. Pull up to the cookout with the briefcase, right?
And yeah, and it sucks because it's like, I guess that's kind of a paywall, obviously paywall,
Of
and
course, always.
obviously you can also collect cards. I think it's not nearly as possible, but it is kind of romantic in a way that you could buy your own cards, or you could buy them when you can, and also maybe pick up cards that your friends had since they quit the game, or for any way, in your grand
Yeah.
romantic sense, to get the cards that you want or the cards that you actually need if you think about it, and everything to make your
Yeah.
best self in your best deck.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
Wait,
again, that's just romantic.
No. Like, so the thing is too is that so when I first started going to events, you had people who legit made it their hustle to collect cards. They always got boxes just to collect and sell. Like they would play the game, but
Flip
they knew
that
they could
shit.
make money just always having the cards. Like people would
Yeah,
like,
but
bro,
exactly. But I mean, I guess if you're selling to people who like the art, but then if you're gonna collect the best cards and keep them for yourself, how far are you
yeah,
really going? But I guess that's just part of the part of the grind. It's
yeah.
funny that you mentioned the tournaments. Um, in your experience, like you have been to trading card game tournaments, right?
Of course, of course.
Which ones? Or what do you play?
So I went to Bushiroad Worlds a couple of times for Vanguard. I used to go to Saturday Night Yu-Gi-Oh when I was living in my old house with my parents. I used to go to tournaments occasionally. I didn't get to go often, but when I did go, I would be like, okay, I have my deck, I want to play. Um, so local shop tournaments for sure. For Vanguard, the most recent tournament I went to was Springfest 20. What was it? 2019, I think, if I'm not mistaken. 2019. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 2019, if I'm not mistaken.
All
Um,
right. That was it was
and
that was the before four times.
yeah.
The
Like
before.
it was before the pandemic for sure. Because after the pandemic, like Bushiroad stopped like having events as often because of course like at all because
And
COVID.
Walmart hasn't been 24/7 since.
Right. So it's like a lot of things halted, but now things are kind of starting to get back to normal
Yeah, I think
for the most
so.
part. Yeah. So,
Thank God.
but I
What
have been to tournaments.
what inspired you to want to go? You said like you wanted to dominate your opponent.
Uh, well, more so, I'm just extremely competitive in a lot of
You
aspects
were
because
driven.
yeah, I'm just extremely driven. Like if I'm passionate about something, I just do it. You know what I mean? I don't really think about it. It's like if I really want to do it, like I'll look up the resources for it. I'll see whoever I know knows anything about it. Like I'll Google search it, YouTube it. Like so for card games, uh, I don't know. I don't really know what made me want to compete. I just the idea of competing in tournaments was like extremely cool. Um,
Yeah, I mean
so
that's just like pretty natural,
mhm.
for boys your age to want to compete and everything, see what you can do.
Yeah,
Um,
because I'm
my
because
man's
I mean
enlightened. He was just fucking driven. He did it because he wanted to. You don't
yeah,
need a reason.
the fucking Shia LaBeouf meme, just fucking do it. You know what I mean? Like because when I was
Deep
younger, I
cut.
used to play sports. Like I used to be like in the basketball, baseball, whatever. And then it was like I really like things that are like mentally stimulating, right? So
So you chose this.
yeah,
This
I
was
chose to do it.
this wasn't like, oh, that you find out you're good at Yu-Gi-Oh when you find out you're not very good at basketball.
Yeah,
You're good at
bro,
other
like
things, like
I'm gonna
buying
be real
Yu-Gi-Oh
though.
cards.
No, but I'm gonna be like so OD real though. Like I was ass. Like when I first started out. Like I mean, like I don't know how good I would be if I went back to the game, but it's like it
Well,
took me a while.
let me ask you. Did you win your first, not a tournament game, but your first game ever
I
against
did.
another human person, of course?
So actually, what the first game I think I won was
But
I
no, the
was
first game
playing
ever. But did you win that one?
the first card game ever I played.
I suppose. Yeah, or you can like separate it into the Vanguard and the Yu-Gi-Oh, and if you can remember, against
Well,
another human person.
like the rush I felt when I like actually got my first win. So I think my first Yu-Gi-Oh win was because we used to play regularly in the cafeteria when I was in high school, and I played against my friend. I think it was either my friend Patrick or it was my friend Alex at the time because like we were all playing like at least semi regularly. I won't say like every day, but like I
You were
remember
those kids. You were those
yeah
kids.
Right, and it took me a while to get a deck I actually liked playing, like, because around this time, like, certain decks were still being played regularly. Some are still, there are still archetypes that, are still kind of played to a capacity, but, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is
There
so
is
much
no
different now.
canon, only retcons.
Yeah, it's so much different now because there's so much you can just splash in a deck now because of splashable deck engines and all the science nonsense behind the game. But so I remember I was playing Infernities because I was in the process of making my first Infernity deck, and this was when like Infernity Launcher I think was at like 3. So when I figured out how to use the deck because it was mad simple, I actually, I started taking games at least decent, semi regularly. You know how it goes. Like sometimes you get a bad hand, sometimes
Oh
you get
my
a good
god,
hand.
I fucking I. This is why I can't even play Uno. That I don't even know. All right, I have terrible luck in general. I'll tell you right now, if I do want to like actually make a good deck, or for some reason I have the time and money to spend them today, know, um, to go ahead and get into it again, I will have to build a deck that is 0%, nothing to do with luck. I will, I will have
Zero
to
percent.
get the right cards, so it can get the right, freaking RNG going, so I
No,
don't get a
the thing,
shitty
the thing,
hand.
the thing that's frustrating about it is that it's all about ratios, bro. Because it's like
Yeah.
you have to have like the ratio with the right amount of cards. Because it's like you gotta think,
I'm
out of
gonna get a
40
handful
cards,
of energies, man, every fucking time.
dude,
That shit is
dude,
stacked.
it's ass because it's like you'll have like a set number of cards that you're allowed to have, and you think to yourself, well, like chance wise, like say for example you put like one card in a 40 card deck, right? That
Uh-huh.
means you have a 1 in 40th chance of getting that card.
Exactly.
So so that your odds are
That's like
extremely low.
2.2%, something crazy.
Yeah,
And
something like that.
and isn't like I'm pretty sure when last time I played, like if I got a hand that I didn't like, I asked for the reshuffle or whatever. I didn't. There was like a stifle where I had to collect. I had to redo my hand, but with one less card.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like then that's even more so in the wound. It's not just I got unlucky with my freaking hand that I don't like. Now I got to be punished for it too. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck,
The
man?
worst thing is when you
Stab
actually
me in
get
the
to
ass.
in some games where you actually get to put your cards back and you put the cards back into the deck to to shuffle like mulligan and pull cards back because
Mm-hmm.
Vanguard has a rule like that where it's like when you first draw your first 5 cards, any cards you don't like, you can just put them back in the deck and then just shuffle, right? And so it sucks when you put those cards that you didn't want, and then you get those same cards back when you draw them, or like you just get an even worse hand. I'm like, dude, you gotta be kidding me.
God said no.
I was like, dude, you gotta be kidding me.
This too is fate. Oh my
Like,
god.
dude,
It's just that's why
I used to.
that's a turn off for me. I'm not gonna lie. That's a turn off for me. I can't risk that kind of commitment to fate. I can't do
Like,
that.
I get it, but there's something about it, dude. There's just something about it that's just like,
I mean, I'm sure
oh
the
man,
catharsis is like something else. And when you
yeah,
get the hand
facts,
that you want, or you start to get the hand that you want, but you have to do that early, man. You gotta actually get something good early
yeah. I mean, it's
to get
true
something
though. I mean,
started.
also, I will say that there are a decent number of games where you start out with like an okay to like less than ideal hand and you still win. Sometimes those do happen. Not as
Well,
often
sure.
as people think. You know what I
It's
mean?
just never happened to
But
me.
right, you make do with what you got sometimes.
But
You know what I mean?
but that's a hurdle. Okay, that's one hurdle. That's another thing I wanted to ask you. What are some hurdles on your journey through these tournaments? Becoming a better
Um,
player. I can tell
I
you're the
want to say,
self-improvement type.
yeah, I am the self-improvement. So for me, it's like at least in the context of card games, because I've done this for a lot of things. Like I'm still learning a lot of things.
Right.
Truth be told.
Sure.
But in the context of card games, if I could go back in time and do things different, one, I would honestly be making more money, but that's besides the point.
You'd be for the fucking future, man. You know what cards? Those
legit play the lottery.
You just never thought of it. You'd be playing the lottery. You wouldn't be fucking playing card games here for the future.
No, I would win the lottery so I could buy cards.
Bro! No, this is done. I'm over. You're thinking way ahead. I'm thinking lottery.
Dude, when I'm obsessed with something, like when I want it, like I want that shit.
Bro, you're gonna fucking play. You're gonna win the lottery. And then the first thing you're gonna buy, the very first thing, you're not gonna relieve your debt. You're not gonna. You could have saved lives. You could have ended world hunger. Are they somewhere?
I'm choosing.
You bought Yu-Gi-Oh cards. You got a Vanguard deck.
No shit. And it's like if my thing is like, so besides jokes aside, like I would at least be getting an allowance of some kind if I could, or like go back in time because when I was playing, I was in high school, so it's like I couldn't really go to a lot of tournaments.
Right.
Because my mom was kind of like she was like more on the traditional side.
That's a hurdle.
So she was kind of like, oh well, this, she would let me go, but it's like she kind of thought it was like a waste of time. You know what I mean?
Oh my god, I think that's gonna be like a huge difference between parenting and generations. Because I would know that's the time to do it, man. When you're in high school, I would like to think I would take the time to like take my kids to like tournaments if they want to. That kind of useless crap. It makes them happy.
Yeah, I mean, but just working towards a goal, like those are skills.
Yeah, these are about something, son.
Yeah, you're learning self-improvement skills. Like if you can improve in something you're generally passionate about, that improves your success in other areas of life. You know what I mean? So it's like if I could go back in time and talk to my mom and be like, yo, like I'm really passionate about this. I really want to go do this. I really want to step up my game. And, she understood to some extent, but it's like, I felt like I could have been like better had I been more consistent. Because,
Sure.
Not being able to go to events consistently does hurt because that's less time you're playing the game with people who are like, say, of a similar
in the meta.
Right. In the meta. Or you're playing, like, say, a subpar deck.
And I'm not sure how in tune you were on the internet back then or anything. Hopefully, you weren't any DMs and shit. But
so I'm gonna be real. I'm the kind of person that plays what I like, right? And sometimes it might not be the might not be the best, like most tier horror winning thing, but it's like it's something I enjoy and it's something that
I see. See, that's gonna hold you back. See, if I were to play, of course, if I were to get into it again, of course I would have the deck I like to play, my freaking Jaden deck, my Dark Magician. I'll have my Ace. I'll just let my soul go on fire and everything. See how far I go with that and tweaking that. But of course, I would also have my "fuck you, I'm gonna win" deck, the completely broken bullshit that just flips the whole game on side. Turn one, I win. Of course, I would have that. The fucking shotgun, the fucking sniper rifle.
The thing is that you have to have a top tier deck you like playing. You know what I mean?
Top tier meta deck.
Top tier meta. So if I could go back, I would A, be more consistent, and B, I would also follow the science of the game a little more, like, because that's the thing about card games. Like you said, playing what you like really kind of only gets you so far from a competitive mindset.
Yeah.
So it's like,
unfortunately.
So it's like you kind of have to play something that's like, tier 1 or 2, or, something that...
To let them know not to fuck with you.
Yeah, like even a tier 0 deck, you know what I mean? I have no shame, like, and at least for card games, because there are other, like, competitive games, I could make this argument against, like, just tier horror, right? But for card games, my roommate recently had this discussion before I, like, moved out, and he was like, "Yo, if I could go back in time, I would just play the science of the game a little more." And I said, "Yeah, I completely understand that because playing the science means that like things are going to flow more in a direction that is more favorable to you in game. So like, playing a better deck not only ups your chances, but it gives you, a better idea of how the game is supposed to flow.
Okay,
So
you may be talking about this is like meta. It's more like making the right plays, knowing when to
yes.
hold back.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of stuff that I was like dipping into. Cause yeah, it was a time where I was just like playing against someone because it was like the only thing to do at the time, and
Right.
we both only had starter decks, and like to be in the same starter deck over and over again, so we could at least mix and max cards that way. But at the end of the day, they were starter decks, and so I was able to look into that and like, oh, I lost because I actually played like ass. I could have done better. I could have held back there, kept
Mm-hmm.
that kind of stuff. That's what you're talking
Mm-hmm.
about.
Yeah, like so decision making is also very important because the thing is, because I kid you not, I was playing in Bushiroad Worlds back at not Worlds, but I was playing in Springfest, and I was playing in the OG tournament, and I was playing Dark Irregulars, and like I was against a Gear Chronicle deck, and it was a really intense match actually. Like it was very even. One play from either side could have decided the game. I kid you not, I still beat myself up for this, but I actually could have won that game. But I
Oh,
misplayed because I thought too hard about my next decision. Like my win condition
exactly.
was like right there. My win condition was right there in front of me. All I had to do was just follow the play, do it exactly how I rehearsed it with my friends, and everything was fine. But
Hold up. You could have done something different, but and you just know
wait,
it. You just you just weren't wise enough, or you just weren't in the headspace to get in that headspace. So, hey, how about can you tell me some of your favorite cards? I guess and both. Do you do Vanguard, Yu-Gi-Oh? Do you do Pokemon? Do you do any Pokemon
uh,
TCG?
I play a little bit of Pokemon, not a lot. My girlfriend wants to play, but I know the rules. I know how to play, but I just never got into it.
One of my favorite memories uh, in the TCG of the Pokemon TCG was like I went to my sister's college once to visit there, and they had like like a glee club, not really a glee club, but they had like a day room there, and someone there was playing Yu-Gi-Oh. They were showing their friends the ins and outs of Yu-Gi-Oh, and I was happy that I was there because I felt like no one else knew how to play the game. Like,
Right.
and it's not it's one thing that I don't really have like that. I don't hang out with that many friends very often at the time, but also I but I was able to play them, play against them and show this new guy how to play the game and everything. I thought that was like really cool. It was like the beginning of my own anime or something.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that guy went on to do tournaments. I like to think he
Mm-hmm.
did. But yeah, like some of your favorite cards, just I guess in both Vanguard and Yu-Gi-Oh.
Some of my favorite cards.
Yeah, the ones that are broken and the ones that you actually like, or just the ones you actually like.
Uh, the ones I like. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know.
tell tell
Generally,
me tell me which ones you like and tell me why. You can just do one. I don't know.
so like I don't know. I feel like I'm a little late for this, but so I'm a huge fan of the Vanguard anime. I think the Vanguard anime is sick.
Like, isn't that the
And
one that had like the anime and then like the Western animated one? They had two
so
cartoons.
they had no. It's mostly been just Japanese, like a straight up Japanese anime.
Maybe I'm
It's
thinking of
had
something else.
Yeah, it was. You might have been thinking of something else, but it's had like I don't know how many renditions, and it came out. The anime came out back in like 2014, 2013, something like that. maybe even before that actually. But that anime's been around for a while. But I'm not too surprised. Too many people don't really know about it, I guess, or haven't
I
watched
don't
it.
watch Vanguard. I'll tell you that much. What I watched was Yu-Gi-Oh. When it
Right.
comes to card games, that's what got
Yeah.
me. I mean, how could you not?
You're
Look at
funny
that
enough too.
hair,
Yeah,
perfectly
no, dude.
coiffed.
I grew up on Yu-Gi-Oh. Like should be told, like GX.
I bought into
Fantastic.
that shit, man.
Oh,
I
I
was the
did too.
fucking. I was rising up my opponents, fucking
Yep.
slamming the shit down, fucking calling out the effects and everything. This is what Slife of the Sky Dragon does. Now you'll lose 800 life points.
Facts. Like I used to be all kind of cool with it. Like I used to just draw and I used to just smoothly call the card's name, explain my effect, like sit back, relax. Like I dream for the day we could have an actual battle city with dual discs and
The
like
holograms,
everybody.
man. Freaking hologram. Dude, you could
Yes.
do that on your phone for real. It could be just like the freaking Pokemon Go.
Yo,
Which,
facts.
completely different thing. I'm trying to stay on point. I still have to ask you about your favorite card. We like to digress. I know this. So I'm going to try to reel us both in. But
Right.
I have no idea why Pokemon Go doesn't have like AR. This is what they call it, AR battles. Okay, everything else is AR in there. You can do the battles. It's not that difficult.
Oh,
You're holding it out on
I,
us. It's wrong. Okay, no one's
I
talking
did
about
hear that.
this. I'm angry, and I think you should be too.
Nah,
Anyways,
I mean, look,
no
the AR. What were you saying?
favorite card.
Vanguard. So for Vanguard, I actually have I have a couple. So nostalgia state.
Let's
I
bring it to
love.
one or two
Okay,
top three.
so my top two cards. If I had to pick my favorite card again, I still have a copy of it. It's Phantom Blaster Dragon.
All right.
Like it's from the clan that I played when I first got into the game. I played Shadow Paladins because I'm edgy. So I picked the edgiest looking card. I was good, and I thought
Fucking
it was
edge
cool as fun.
lords.
Yeah, like I'm a super
That
edgy
was the
kid.
only reason. You wrote the edge lords have one rule. It's the rule of cool,
Yeah,
and
facts. Like
fascism, I guess.
as long as my cards look cool, I'm dope. I'm Gucci. Like, second favorite, the one that was um, most either broken at the time. No, it was broken at the time, and also kind of looks cool. Was Chaos Breaker Dragon, which was a
That
Link
sounds
Joker
cool.
card. Hold on, let me see. I'm actually looking it up now just to make sure I have the name right. Yeah, like Star Vader Chaos Breaker Dragon.
All right.
So they
I'll put up
actually.
pictures of them up here when they show.
You should, because Chaos Breaker actually looks cool as hell. Like he has a scythe, like he's got dragon wings. He looks like some omnipotent space god. Like it's really sick.
That sounds sicko mode.
It Link Joker was one of the most broken, the most broken clan at the time when this card came out. Literally back when this card came out, we went to a Bushido Worlds, and I kid you not, I'm pretty sure one of the top three was a Link Joker player, and they were playing Chaos Breaker. I'm not even joking. Because they introduced a new mechanic back then called locking, where if you don't know the rules of Vanguard, you have 6 cards on the board, and locking pretty much meant that you locked the card and you could not do anything with that card. It just took up dead space. You literally couldn't call over it.
Wow.
It was just a space. It was literally just a space you didn't have access to. It was so good at the time. And he got to lock two cards with his ability, if I'm not mistaken. It was Counterblast 1. Your opponent. Let me see it. No, actually, when your opponent's locked card is unlocked, Soul Blast 1, retire one of your locked units, draw a card. Your opponent removes a total of 2 markers from his or her circles or protect from his or her hand, which means you have to get rid of guard when this card Soul Blasts. And then the Gift Force marker means the protect is removed. So that means it loses its shield when that happens. So it's you discard, and it has no protect value whatsoever.
Whoa.
And then one of the continuous abilities is during the turn, if your opponent has a locked card, this card gets 10,000 power, which was a pretty big deal back then. And you got to choose one of your opponent's rear guards and locked it for a counterblast. So it's like you choose. I think this is actually no. I'm actually looking at the V version because this is like the new printed version. What the fuck is the old version? I remember this ability being like ridiculously good.
So there was an alternate for this card. I'm not sure which one I'm showing.
The V series one is the most recent printed card because it's following V series, which is like the reboot.
It's like retcon.
Yeah, it's like a soft reboot of the game back to like old mechanics, sort of.
Oh my god, see, it's complicated, man. These freaking card games they have history, man.
Yeah,
you had to be there.
I wish I could find a fucking. Actually, here it is. Here's the original print. I found it. So you counterblast one at the beginning of your opponent's main phase. If your opponent has 2 or more locked cards, you may pay the cost. If you do, search your deck for up to 1 card named Star Vader Chaos Breaker Dragon from your deck, write it as stand, and shuffle your deck. So, like, and then counterblast 1 with Star Vader. Counterblast 1 card with Star Vader in its name. When this unit is placed on Vanguard, you may pay the cost if you do choose up to 1 rear guard in your opponent's back row and lock it. So that means, actually, because this was a limit break ability, actually. So you limit breaked 4, you counterblast 1, you search for another copy of Chaos Breaker Dragon, you write it, and then you get another locked card. So you can lock one of your opponent's cards when the card re-rides Vanguard Circle. So, like, it was a pretty big deal back then because having 1 locked card on the field that you just couldn't do anything with was like huge. Like you couldn't boost with it. You couldn't if, say for example, you locked the rear guard, like you couldn't guard with it. Like, you know what I mean? You were down a unit. Like that was a really big deal back then.
I bet. How about Yu-Gi-Oh though?
So, favorite card in Yu-Gi-Oh. 100 Eyes Dragon.
100 Eyes Dragon.
Like, so, remember I told you I played Infinities. So, when I was watching 5Ds at the time, I thought the dude who played, like, Infinities, Callan, who was Yusei's friend, was, like, the coolest dude ever. Like, even though he was a fucking psycho. But, like, you know what I mean? He was, in his defense, he was mind controlled. So,
of course.
So, he, like, had this really sick card, 100 Eyes Dragon, and he was playing Infinities. I thought Infinities were so sick. I liked the design. They were literally demons from hell, dude. And
oh my god, that's so edgy. I fucking love it.
But dude, it's all the cards looked so sick, and they had such cool abilities. And like 100 Eyes Dragon, I think had an ability where it's like, what was it? It had something to do with like the card in the graveyard. Like if one of these cards was used as like a material in his like synchro summon or something, he like gained an extra ability or something like that. It was really cool. And then I think my second favorite in Yu-Gi-Oh would have to be like just for the sake of it being broken. Trying to think, because there were a couple of cards that had me kind of heated. Like
I bet.
Hold on.
Search for the most broken card. It probably had to be like the most broken card at that time period because I know they keep bringing out more.
At that time, I'm trying to think because I've played the top tiers. So when I was at the lunch table, most of us played like top tier decks. Besides, like I was playing like a tier 2 deck at the time. The Infinities were, I guess, considered tier 2 before they got nerfed. And I played against Spellbooks and I played against Noble Knights. Like every time I sat down at that lunch table. So, what was it? Like, I'm trying to remember. Let's see here. Oops. trying to remember what card had me like.
Take your time.
Let me see. This video will over 10. No, like I'm trying to search for.
I'm not cutting that out.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm actually probably gonna cut this out.
Nah, that's all good. Like I'm trying to find like a specific spellbook card.
There is multiple.
Spellbook of Judgment. There we go. Okay, so this card, coupled with like Dragon Ruler of Infernos, was like easily two of the most obnoxious decks I had to play against at the time. So Spellbook of Judgment is like during the end phase of the turn this card was activated, add a spellbook spell card from your deck to your hand, except Spellbook of Judgment. That was the only thing. Up to the number of spell cards activated after this card's resolution. Then you can special summon from your deck one spellcaster type monster whose level is less than or equal to the number of cards added to your hand by this effect. You can only activate one spellbook of Judgment per turn. So you just like if you just started like 5 or 6 spell cards, you just got like a level 6, level 5, level 6 monster on the field. Counted as a special summon. Right?
Bro, that's just for like, playing the game. You shouldn't have reached to turn 6. You fuck.
Dude, and it's spellbooks. You're playing hella spells in that bitch. Like, and it's a quick play spell card at that.
Oh.
Like that shit used to have to be heated.
Got your ass jutsu.
It could be like your turn, you're playing spellbook judgment.
Wow.
Fuck me. And then it was like Dragon Rulers were like good. I would say like they had heated, but Blaster Dragon Ruler of Infernos was easily another card that I was like, okay, this card needs to go.
Alright.
If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can banish a total of 2 fire or dragon type monsters from your hand and or graveyard. Now keep in mind this is Dragon Rulers, so all you're playing is dragons. And there's like more dragon cards in Yu-Gi-Oh than I can count on my fucking hands, bro.
I imagine. Because I know they have like all these different they have, I'm not sure how many different types they have. They have types like they do in Pokemon, but I'm not sure that's like made certain things super effective. I never got that deep into it. How do types work in Yu-Gi-Oh? Real quick.
So there's no fire is weak to water in Yu-Gi-Oh. That doesn't.
It's not that really, important.
No, it's like the only time like attributes matter is if it's like for like card effects or like spells or like let me think. Like if a card like specifically calls for you to have a fire monster or a dark monster or a dragon monster.
Sure.
Like, in the card description, it's like sacrifice like one magician card or some shit like that, right?
Yeah, it's like a theme. It's an aesthetic.
Yeah. Like it's just like it mostly fits. Like now I will say like I want to say that with how Yu-Gi-Oh is right now, I don't know how much that matters too much. Like because you pretty much because you can just mix and match shit now. It's like people have this so much down to a science where it's like because of how a card is like specifically worded. It's like you could use that card in the deck and it like does something specific, right?
Bro, I know I would get in my share of arguments over the wording of certain cards.
Oh, always.
We will throw hands over that shit. I guarantee you.
No, I can't, dude. It happens at tournaments all the time because it's like you have to have like a judge there. Just somebody. They literally pay people who just to know the rule book for Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Just to know the rules and the ruling on cards, so that something like this, like having a dispute between players doesn't happen.
You need that. You need that for like movies now. You need someone making these MCU movies, making the next Superman or Batman, Wonder Woman. You gotta have someone who knows the comics. You gotta have someone who knows the context.
Of course.
That's important. Of course. Only geeks know that. because we fight so often. So we need you need a third party for these things.
Yeah, anybody who knows the source material and shit. You know what I mean? And it's like, I can't,
Read the
because
freaking manga.
we would have to so at school we would have to look up the rulings for cards if we weren't sure if something could happen or not. Like we would literally look it up on our phones, and we would like type in like specific ruling for X card.
Right, and someone else already hashed that out, so they'll have something to tell you about it. Their 2 cents. Some wonderful stranger online.
Oh yeah. Like or just somewhere that like has all the rules and official rulings, because they have it like posted like on like an official website somewhere.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, but
sure.
It's like my friend Patrick used to be pretty good with rulings last time I checked. So normally he knew most of the time, but some there were some rulings he just wasn't sure about. So we kind of just went with it. Sometimes it's like, okay, we'll just assume this happens because of our own understanding, and we'll just keep going.
Hey, let me ask you, off the top of your head, or I'm not sure if you see it, how big do you think your total card collection is? I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh, Vanguard, Pokemon, all of it.
Like how much it's worth, or just how much?
Right. Okay. I mean, how many cards do you think you have? And then let's go to worth, if you want to, if you're comfortable with that. You're out here clutching your chest, clutching your wallet. What do you mean by that?
All right. So number of cards I have. So
if you had to guess.
If I had to guess, so me and my girlfriend are actually collecting Pokemon cards for fun.
Oh, so it's growing.
Yeah, so we'll count those, because we're just having a personal collection for ourselves to be able to do with as we please. I have my Vanguard stuff still. Not a whole bunch, but a decent amount.
Oh yeah, through the trials of time, cards can get lost, unfortunately. I know I don't have all my cards.
Also, just because I haven't really been playing Vanguard like that the past couple of years. You know what I mean? Like I played with my roommate on the online client that we have for Vanguard, maybe 3 or 4 months ago. But that's the most I've really.
Isn't that great though? That today we can play card games online. Isn't that how it was always supposed to be? Kind of low key.
Oh yeah.
That was kind of the energy on Battle City. Looking.
Yeah.
Kind of.
So the thing is, there used to be a Yu-Gi-Oh client online that I used to play for hours. I would just make decks just to try them if I couldn't afford them, and it was it wasn't automated. It was completely client ran. So it's you would have the players communicate with each other.
It was ran by fans.
Yeah, it was ran by fans, and you would have to call in a judge if one of you didn't really know a ruling or something. So you would have to ping somebody to come in.
Oh wow!
In the chat and say, hey, so you can't do this, or you can do this, but only if you do this, right? So playing online now, to be honest, to Master Duel, godsend. Even though it's mostly its own format, and I guess mostly OCG, still nice to have, right?
Sure.
But the total number of cards I have, I don't really have my Yu-Gi-Oh stuff anymore, so I don't have any more Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Right?
Oh.
Because I've mostly been playing Master Duel, so it's
Oh, who needs them?
Completely clutter free, right? So I guess Vanguard and Pokemon combined.
Oh, I'm sorry to bring this up, but if you don't have them anymore, do you think you could have sold any of them? Do you think any of them were valuable?
Well, to be honest, the only cards I had at the time were the decks I made. I didn't really have much trade fodder, because I didn't really go out of my way to get it.
Oh, okay.
So it was okay, I built Infirmities. Okay, I built Ghost Tricks. Okay, I built whatever deck I felt like playing. I built the Red Eyes Black Dragon with the new Red Eyes Black Dragon support. I built Blue Eyes. You know what I mean? This stuff I felt like playing, and I wouldn't really collect. I more so just I only got the cards I needed to compete. which is like, when you're on a budget, it's like makes sense, right? You only buy what you can afford, and you can only build what you can afford, and you keep what you got, and you sell the excess.
It's kind of odd. It's like the most powerful meta cards aren't necessarily the most valuable trade fodder.
No, like everybody looks for, I guess, stuff that's useful, like right then and there, but also things that could be rare or just nice to have, or like sometimes actually,
The
to be
art is
honest,
really nice. The
yeah,
art is
the
just
art's
so
really
good.
nice. Some people just hold on to the cards to be able to resell later, or like get an extra $20 or $40. You know what I mean? Maybe an extra $100. Like I
This
kid you
freaking
not, like
Yu-Gi-Oh, man, the freaking card games taught kids the stock market, taught them freaking gambling,
yo,
strategy. They turned us to
yeah,
men, man.
bro, it's a hustle. It's a legit hustle, bro. Like you'll have somebody be calculating like the whole price of a deck, or like look up the price of a card, and bro, I kid you not, you have dudes with like rolling carts of binders of just like trade fodder that's worth like thousands of dollars. Like if you really add it, you know what I mean? It's like people have systems for this shit, but like I probably could have sold my decks, maybe for like, if whatever people were willing to pay for them, you know what I mean, sell it online or whatever. But, I mostly did like trades for stuff I wanted. So like, if somebody had a deck that I wanted, I would trade my deck for their deck. Easy trade, right? Especially if like the decks were comparable in price, right? Like you have some people out here who do like really shitty deals. Like I kid you not, I had a friend back in high school. We called him Furry, but his name was Michael.
What the
Right?
fuck?
Yeah, he was a furry, but like,
Gross.
but we called him furry. You know what I mean? So,
Oh, I just want to say that I was part of the council. I believe back in 2007, we decided against the genocide of the furs. I was against it. I never really got over it, but I'm getting better. I met furries before, or a furry before, and he was cool. I like to think so. So he was one of the good ones. I figure. So it's cool.
makes sense. Makes sense. Like, I mean, like, look, as someone who
Just keep
technically,
it indoors. Keep that shit away from me.
because I consider myself a furry man. You know what I mean? So it's like, I keep my interests pretty on the low key side of things. That's just how
Just
I've
between you and
chosen
God.
to. Yeah, just that's between me and God.
There's some things you
Like,
gotta just keep bring with you to your grave. Some secrets,
yep.
some secrets. Whatever. If you die, whatever secrets you have, you kept it forever. That's the way it goes.
Facts. But like, so yeah, my man's was a furry, and but he didn't like show it or nothing. Pretty awkward, right? And I remember he used to play Yu-Gi-Oh with us, and he had some of the best luck for some reason. I have no idea why.
Aww.
I kid you not, I thought this dude was a fucking moron for this. he, so, Dragon Ruler Draco Stack was the hottest card on the market. I think was like worth $500 at the time. And like, he had pulled one in a random pack, and we were all sitting here like, what? Like, you just pulled like $500, bro.
Oh
And
my
like,
god.
this motherfucker, I kid you not,
Hold up.
went to a
All right, that's wild. That's wild. So you got really lucky pulling out from the pack, drawing from the pack.
So he drew the Draco stack from the pack. It was like $500 at the time, and like, this motherfucker went to a shop, traded that card with somebody he had a business deal with, and he traded it for a blackluster soldier, and I think it was like $50, if I'm not mistaken.
You got the Blackluster Soldier and $50.
So the blackluster soldier, which by the way, blackluster soldier
Yeah, is that
at the
good?
time, it's a pretty decent card. It was a decent card at the time, decently valuable, right? Because everybody was playing BLS at that point. At some point in that meta, but like he got like $50 into the BLS. Now keep in mind, BLS I think was only like 60 or 70 value wise back then, right? So you add that to the 50 he got, that's like $120, right? That man didn't even sell that card, like didn't even get out of that trade half of what that card was worth at the time.
No, it doesn't sound like equivalent exchange.
No, it was not. He could have, bro. He could have held on to that card and made so much more money. But no, he was such a moron about it, and we were all wanting to like literally jump him for that. Like, bro.
And that's wild because people obviously people are born in different circumstances. Some people are black, Spencer, and it's not popular. And people can be born gay, that can get you killed. But and even that aside, there isn't a lot worse you can do than being born kind of dumb. Not throwing any shade at anyone. No one's perfect, so maybe just crazy that way. But you know it's wild. It's wild that you know the headspace you can be in to not make the optimal decisions when you can, or just any time. I imagine it can be really just hard, a hard life. I should know. I feel it every day.
I feel it.
Oh my god. How much do you think you spent total your entire life on trading card games? On trading cards? Packs.
Trading card games?
Not yeah, I guess. You know what I mean, like the packs.
So, I've had to at least spend like on trading cards, like
this is gonna hurt.
At least somewhere in the thousands, bro.
Easily clear 1,000.
Easily. Like if I could take all the money,
it's more than that. It had to be more than that. You've been at it for a while. It sounds like.
From the amount of decks that I made, to the packs I bought, to like, and it just I'm gonna count tournament entry fees too. Just
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh shit! That easily that's easily $2,000.
Yeah. So I at least $2,000, at least at most. Not even at most, at minimum. At minimum. Like, because I can't even begin to get you the math on that, bro. And it started all the way back when I was in high school, when I didn't have a job, when I had to beg my sister, who was in college, to buy me.
That's the hustle. That's the hustle right there. You had to make it happen back in the day, man. Like, today you can just go to Walmart, fucking just do it for fun. It's nothing. Yeah, you had to hustle back then. Manifest. Now he teaching these kids how to pray, man. Fucking manifestation. Gotta get those cards, collect them all.
Have to.
But in your time in tournaments, how many tournaments do you think you've been to? I guess if you have to guess, top of your head.
If I had to guess, probably I mean, if we're counting like Worlds tournaments and we're counting like Shorts tournaments,
yeah,
I had to say I've been. It's got to be at least in the hundreds by now.
What?
Like, for sure. Like at least maybe even maybe less than that. Like maybe 100 tournaments at least.
That's a lot of battles. That's a lot of fights.
I mean,
a lot of mind games.
I'm counting mostly like the times I used to go to like Saturday Night Yu-Gi-Oh and like you know like the Bushiro tournaments.
But
I'm also
did you have
counting
to pay for entry for all of those? Were some of them free?
not for all of them. No, like some of them you
Okay.
just signed up. Like you know what I mean. Some tournaments you had to buy in. Others were just like they're mostly free to sign up.
I'm glad capitalism hasn't tainted everyone's soul.
Yeah, no.
Sportsmanship.
Like it's free to sign up. The prize most times is like you'll get like store credit or like you'll get like money towards like buying packs and like
Oh my
you know
god.
you know what I mean like
That's
stuff
so
like that.
scummy though. You think
I
about
mean
it.
like to be fair though, if you actually pulled from the stuff that you use like store credit on or like you got like the packs from, because sometimes it would just like you would win like 6 free packs from like the newest set or something like that. So
Okay, I
like
mean, yeah.
you know what I mean. So it's like for a lot of people who aren't card game players, it's worth it because then you'll have the chance to pull something that's actually worth something that you can then like sell to somebody. Because think about it, if somebody had won a tournament and got like a pack of Dragon Rulers, the Dragon Rulers set back then, they pull a Draco set. It's $500 for winning a tournament. You know what I mean?
If you're lucky, but I mean,
If you're
at
lucky,
least you get the chance. It's something for
yeah,
nothing. I'll give you that.
yeah. And most times, like there's not, like I said, there's not really a buy-in at shop tournaments. Now it's like if you go to like someplace else that has a buy-in, it's different. But it's like most tournaments you'll probably go to don't actually have money in the table, like on the table. If that makes sense.
That's 100 tournaments. That's a lot of
At least,
experience. At least 100 tournaments.
at least.
What do you think? Have you experienced any? Not I guess. I guess misogyny and homophobia, that kind of toxicity, in these tournaments. Have any of that bled out to you? Heard anything about it? Maybe affected your friends or anything?
Um.
What's the air like?
So I'm gonna be real. Me personally,
Let's get real. Let's get real.
I haven't really. My experience in the card game community was mostly positive. Like,
Okay.
I hadn't really run into like a lot of people who weren't chill, who weren't like nice people. You know what I mean? Who just kind of wanted to play some card games.
Well, I know you play fighting games, so you can't
mean,
help but make that comparison to the
I'm
FGC community. You
right.
know that's
Like,
where I'm drawing that from.
yeah, because I'm gonna be real. Like, you see it in my opinion way more in like places like the FGC or Smash than you do in card games.
God damn, that is such a toxic community. Oh my god.
I'm not saying it's like I'm not saying it doesn't exist in card game tournaments. I'm just saying I've never experienced it. I've had a very positive experience. Like I had local shops I would go to. I had a shop I would go to with my roommate. My recent roommate. Every now and again when we could go to tournaments. Him and I have had pretty chill experiences. I can't speak for him because he's probably gone to more tournaments than me, truth be told. But and he's placed a lot better than me, truth be told, in a lot of games. But
oh, your ass for real?
Yeah, no.
Oh my god, you didn't tell me you were ass. I wouldn't have called you on here.
I'm definitely so. Like I said, if I could go back in time and do things different, I would.
You're not denying it, bro. You're not denying it. You're just coping. If I could go back in time.
I want to say competent at card games was like, okay, I just, I was like, okay, I'm not sure I want to spend money on this right now. You know what I mean? I'm not sure if I want to keep playing Yu-Gi-Oh. I would play Vanguard, of course, but of course, also the pandemic kind of hit, so it's my enthusiasm for card games kind of went with the pandemic a little bit. But
oh man, it kind of forced a lot of people.
Yeah, no, of course. But as far as I know, from a card game community perspective, and I know one of the most recent Yu-Gi-Oh! World's Championship winners made a post on Twitter about
Twitter
like
all got. You mean X? Get X, bro.
X
what
X
what the
whatever,
fuck's happening?
you know. She had made a comment about girls can play fighting games. Oh, not like play fighting games. Girls can play card games and be kick ass at it or some post
Of
like
course,
that.
we had My Valentine. Remember?
Yeah, of
That's a
course.
foregone conclusion.
You know what I mean? Like I've never gotten that, bro. I'm gonna be real with you. Like I don't really care what gender you are, or like what whatever you are, right? Whatever color you are.
Well, that's because you're not an incel.
I mean, yeah. I would like to. I would like to think both of us are. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no.
Like I don't fucking care. Like what you look like or what your gender identity is. Like if you're playing your card game or you're playing me in a fighting game, I'm gonna treat you with the same respect I would treat anybody else.
Exactly.
You know what
I mean, I guess. I guess she. I don't know this woman, but I could imagine she's speaking from a place of experience. I mean,
yeah.
it sucks. That
Yeah,
fucking sucks. That
it does, and I can't because I'm not a woman, so I can't speak on it. You know what I mean? But it's like
yeah. So I mean, I guess
I
that was kind of like where I was kind of going with that. But look at us, two dudes. I
yeah,
guess
like two dudes talking about women.
that's
Women's
wrong.
rights.
Goes on to have a few beers. The most fucking misogynist piece you ever heard.
Like I can't speak to that experience. You know what I mean? Because I'm not a woman. I've never been harassed at events. But what I can say is that I've seen some girls who are like pretty good at fighting games and pretty good at card games. You know what I mean? It's like
of course.
I would be like, oh, I could possibly lose to this person if they're skillful in the game and they're really good. You know what I mean? But like even if they're not, it's like I treat them the same as I would anybody else. Like,
it has nothing to do with their gender.
Right.
I
fight anybody because I want to win. Right. I don't care if somebody's some way or another.
Your deck is rated E for everyone.
Right. And I feel like that if more people saw being in these activities the same way as being anywhere else, whether it's treating a woman with respect, I mean, treating them like they're a person,
like a person, as if they were a person.
Yeah, a lot of these dudes out here,
hypothetically,
like when a lot of these dudes out here, when it comes to like the misogyny and like the judgment and shit, it's like they have this way of talking or playing girls as if they can't like adapt to like the game itself, or they're just not cut out for it, or they're like they can't be as good as a guy for some reason, right? Which is not true at all.
And I feel like maybe that could be like in some cases kind of like unspoken, like the quiet part or anything, but it's kind of like you get that energy, microaggressions. I can't say for sure,
Right.
But it can be like that, I guess.
It can.
I guess then maybe that can go like anywhere, but I suppose in the least toxic, the most ideal environment, that wouldn't be there.
Right. Look,
wouldn't be a thought.
It wouldn't be a problem if we lived in a perfect world. It just wouldn't be a problem.
Right. That's you can say that for a lot of things, huh?
Yeah. Like so at the lunch table when I used to play, right? We had a girl with us. Like my friend Alex was female, right? So she
progressive.
I lost to her. You know what I mean? Like I didn't think about anything. I didn't think anything of it. We would just play casually. We would just go about our day. You know what I mean? It wasn't really that. Like I didn't. It didn't matter that she was a girl. You know what I mean? She just played the game, right?
Then why did you mention it?
I mentioned it because like I had mentioned it just to prove a point where it's like she's.
I was just taking the piss.
She was playing with Dolces at the time, and like we used I think everybody there had been losing to her at least semi consistently. Like we were all pretty even in skill at the time, if I remember correctly. and it's like, we were all the reason I brought it up was because it's like, it was just like four guys, no, five guys, myself included, in her, and it's like, she was just, just like everybody else. You know what I mean? We would sit there, we would play, we would chill, we would laugh, we would make, small jokes about the cards. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? And in a perfect world, I feel like it could just be more of that. You know what I mean? Just people getting along, having a good time, playing the game. Like, you know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
throwing
Yes.
hands.
So I since you've obviously had so much experience, so many battles, duels, in and out of tournaments. Can you tell me, or do you remember any just immaculate plays, whether it be by luck or skill, anything that comes to mind about like, oh, that was like a nat 20 scene right there. Like that's how Yugi would have done it. That's how Yami Yugi would have done it. That's how Jaden would have done it.
I'm gonna be real. I can't really think of anything that comes to mind per se. Like
Any
shit,
close calls?
Like, I remember like, because I remember
100 tournaments, never had an exciting duel. Never, not one exciting duel.
So no, I've had exciting duels. I just can't remember any plays that have like stuck out to me. You know what I mean? Because it's like when you're just kind of playing, like you're just sitting there and you're in the moment you're playing. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's like the game's in front of you, and it's like, after the game's done, it's like, oh, you might be salty a little bit. You're like, oh man.
It's kind of a haze. It's kind of a bit hazy.
It's like you can't remember exactly everything that's happened because it's like
you heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Dueling is a drug to this man.
It kind of is. That's a lot of things though.
Waking up with hay fever, with a hangover.
It's the same with like chess or fighting games. It's like you play somebody, it's like it's really hard to remember every detail of every match because you played so many matches.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
But I do. I mean, like even the things that I do, I try to, like, I guess reflect, and remember, like, oh, that was a cool moment when I did that, or.
But I completely get that though.
But if you can't remember anything, nothing comes to mind. Couldn't even make anything up. Jeez, lazy. Can you tell me?
Bro, I was dude, I kid you not, I was trying. I was like thinking about something.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Can you tell me maybe the types of players you met? You mentioned, your fair share just by talking already, but yeah, can you maybe list some archetypes that you're definitely gonna see, some characters you're definitely gonna see if you go to your local tournament or to the Worlds or anything?
So for Yu-Gi-Oh, I haven't played
some stereotypes.
Like I haven't played in a while, but I have I'm sort of keeping up with the cards, not really, like,
Oh well, sure. I mean, it keeps going, man. Life keeps going too. No one can blame you.
Yeah, it just keeps going, and there's more cards, more prints, more ban lists, like whatever, right? But I mean, what the fuck? I was watching a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament like a couple of weeks ago. Like, who the fuck won? Worlds 2023. Let's see here. Oh, that same person that I mentioned earlier, Jessica Robinson, Rika Sonavala Theory and Deck, which is, I guess, one of the splashable deck archetypes. Yeah, like, so you'll see, like, princesses and, like, like knights, dragons. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh is really big on those.
No, well, I'm not talking about the decks. I'm talking about personality. You said princesses. I was like,
I thought we were talking about the deck. I thought we were talking about the deck archetypes.
No, we're talking about people.
Sorry. My bad. People. I mean, like
freaking deck archetypes. Okay, I see what you.
Sorry, that was where my mind.
I see.
So the types of people I've normally run into at tournaments are pretty like normal everyday dudes. Like really, truth be told, like fucking
They
you
hide
don't
among
really get
us.
you don't get too many loud personalities in I want to say card game areas. Like sometimes you do. Sometimes you
It's
get
not the
really dudes.
FGC.
Like it can be that way though, because you'll have like dudes who are like in full cosplay.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Just
Yeah.
really get into it. You know what I mean? Like
Oh my
you got a
god.
dude who's like dressed as Pegasus, like in
Ah, yes.
fucking like you'll get those eccentric types. Then you get those like really quiet thinker types, like who are just there to play the game and
Come in with a
like
hoodie, sweatpants.
shake your hand to leave. Yeah, like let me think. Definitely some college student type dudes too, for sure. And definitely some like average average looking college dude bro, like just happens to play Yu-Gi-Oh in his free time.
See
Um,
salarymen.
yeah, like salarymen dudes. Like normally the fighting game, like not fighting game, the card game community is normally, as far as personalities are concerned, a little more tame for the most part.
At least from what you've seen.
At least from what I've seen, I can't speak to everybody's experience, but I can speak to mine. Like everybody I've met through card games, normally pretty chill. More normally pretty chill.
Tell me about the atmosphere.
The
What?
atmosphere, like
Yeah, I
the
guess like the energy. How I guess people are pretty polite, or does it seem pretty punishing,
so
dreadful,
the
or people are always salty during the tournaments.
sometimes there can be some salt, but like other times it's like it's kind of like your average con, like or your average get together where it's like people are kind of just talking. It's not really like I want to say the energy is a little different, like truth be told, because it's like it's competitive, but it's not like oh my god,
It's
like everybody's
still chill.
yeah, it's still chill because it's like you'll have people in the corner playing cards, just talking, having fun, like you know what I mean, like
Just do what they love.
yeah, there's like card game players are like the types of people that just do what they do because they love it, like you know what I mean, and that's what I like about the atmosphere. It doesn't really feel like that. Like it feels competitive, but it's not. Like you never really like nerves can come up for sure if you're like in the middle of an intense match, but like for the most part, it's mostly just you chilling, looking at cards, hanging out with people.
I guess some people might rage quit. Never
Yeah,
seen
I
rage
mean, like,
quitters.
there is a thing called scooping where it's like if if you look at like say for example you look at a board and you're like your board is just like okay like I
You're
don't
facing
really
someone. Turn one, I win.
right. You look at the board and you look at the game and you're like, there's no way I'm going to win this from a logical standpoint. And you scoop and you just kind of shake their hand and leave, right?
Damn,
Like
Conquerors hockey, bro. The Conquerors
that
hockey goes wild.
that happens. It's more not so conquerors hockey. It's more just like okay, you guys are like in the middle of say the game or like game one, and it's like logically from a logical standpoint, with the cards I have available to me right now, I don't think I can win this.
Dag.
Yep.
That must be an experience.
It does happen. Like, and to be honest, it's like, look, like, GG's. Sometimes you just get a bad hand. You know what I mean?
You have the decency to admit it.
Yeah. Because
Sorry.
I want to say the salt from card games is a little more acceptable because it's like, okay, this is kind of like something that I knew could happen. You know
Yeah,
what
I mean, but
like,
like when it comes to strategy in card games, you can't help but also like draw the parallels to like the Art of War. Sun Tzu, the Art of War. I happen to dabble, and it's what's a better strategy against overwhelming force than to avoid that overwhelming force entirely. You won't lose if you don't play. There's something to it. And if you came there to win, you know what I mean? So there's a logic to it.
yeah,
Certainly.
I mean, it's more like you look at the game, you look at your cards, you look at their cards, you look at your cards, and you're um, like with the plays that we have made on the sport, right? Like, is this winnable? No. Okay, scoop next game. Like it's really just it's a really smooth transition. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, whatever. You know, because part of card games is luck, right? Sometimes you just get unlucky. You know
And
what I
then I
mean?
guess if you do that like twice in a row, eventually you'll get tired of looking like a bitch and you just fight them anyways.
Well, it's more like you do it twice in a row, you're unlucky. Okay, well, on to the next round of Swiss or whatever, and you just play the next guy. Like it's like how can I describe it? It's more like taking cough syrup than it is taking a cyanide pill.
Oh, you gotta explain that one to me because I thought I
No,
understood before, but now.
no. So what I mean by that is like it's an easier pill to swallow. You know,
Okay, I kind of like that now. That's
right?
an easier pill to swallow. The cough syrup.
It is.
A
It is.
comparison to the,
It's like you take the
you cough
medicine.
up the cyanide real quick.
No, like
You
the
just can't get that
cyanide
one
is
down.
like now the cyanide I would compare to say like fighting games, right? Where it's like sometimes it's like you just get that salty, you know what I mean? It's like, all right, I want to fucking kill myself. But card games is like, all right, you know, whatever, GG's. Like
Really? No, because I mean they're
at least
both kind of the same, but I feel like with card games that's turn-based combat. You know, you should be in more control. You have time to be in
I
control.
mean, you should,
I feel more
but a lot of
salty
times,
if I lost in slow motion compared to a fighting
right?
game.
Well, the thing is that with card games, there are factors about the game you just. I mean, now this is for both, but in my opinion, it's different. But for card games, there are things you just can't control. It's like, all right, like this is, me and my roommate have talked about this multiple
Right,
times.
chill,
Like,
chill, chill. All right, we're almost through all the questions. What were you talking about?
um,
With your
the
roommate?
salt. So my roommate and me had this conversation a while ago, and we were like, um, there. So we both play fighting games, but we also both play card games. He's a little more into card games than me, but we play both. And so we had this conversation. We're like, for a card game, right? It's like a lot of card games is very tangible, randomized factors, right? Like
Of course,
what cards you draw, right? If you get the right cards, right?
naturally.
If
The
your
matchup.
opponent, if your opponent gets the right cards, right? Like the matchup could be bad, but your opponent gets a bad hand, and it's like, oh, suddenly the deck doesn't work anymore, right?
I guess
Or it's
that's
not.
kind of the sportsmanship aspect. I can kind of see
Yeah,
that.
right.
Oh, but I
Whereas,
hate that. That's what I'm saying, man. I hate that. That's the worst part about the freaking TCG for me.
mm,
Oh, gotta get around that
it's
somehow.
because
I know people
sometimes,
stack the deck.
yeah,
Is that
I
a
mean,
that's a
some
thing? Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Is that taboo? You're not allowed to talk about that.
don't get it twisted. I've never personally experienced cheating, but I know it happens. I know it happens. Like, don't get it twisted. I know it happens.
Oh shit!
But like,
Now we're getting to
I
the
mean,
toxicity.
like,
Yes.
trust me, I can speak on this very limitedly. But what I can say is that I know it does happen.
You heard it here, folks. You heard it here first, folks. You heard it here first. My conspiracy theories have been vindicated.
No, there's a whole documentary video on cheating. Go look that shit up. I promise you. I'll send you the link too. Like,
Do that.
it's off.
Okay. Do you recommend getting good? If you can go back to your, I don't know, 12-year-old self and all your friends at the time, whenever you started your journey, you know, would you tell them to go for it?
the question?
If you can go back in time and you can talk to, I don't know, your 12-year-old self and all your 12-year-old friends, would you tell them, yes, this is a decent commitment, go for it, get good, do what you have to do
Mm,
to get good?
mm, so if I could go back in time, I would probably say, instead of just saying get good, I would say
You already answered
prioritize.
that pretty much.
I mean, I kind of did, but like that was like for myself. Now for like anybody else, like I would be like, okay, so if you want to get good and you want to be competitive, do it. But that doesn't mean you have to, right? Like,
Okay.
because a lot of people are like, oh, I want to get into this competitively. Damn, I want to be good, and it's like, oh my god, they get such an obsession with like being good that they kind of forget to have fun with the game, and
You're
they end up
right.
being
It can be
they kind of
it can be a source of suffering.
right. It's like the game is more of like a stress, like a stress trigger than it is a stress relief. You know what I mean?
Try to use it for
And
like a means to an end.
mm-hmm.
My man Spencer
and
over here, he just likes playing the game, win or lose. He just showed to be there.
yeah, like I don't give a fuck if I win or lose. Like I'm just there to do it. You know what I mean? Like it's like because don't get me wrong,
But you
I was
came to
around.
win.
I mean, yeah, of course, because that's the end goal. Of course, everybody wants to win, right? Like I can't think of a single soul on the planet that shows up to a tournament to lose. Like you know what I mean?
Like, I'm gonna get my ass beat so hard, man. It's gonna be three
you know,
stock. This is gonna be great.
like yeah, like some people might not care. They just kind of play. But it's like it's like the end goal for me is like I'm gonna take some names and kick some ass, right?
Right.
But you know, sometimes it doesn't end up that way. Sometimes it just doesn't happen. It's like okay, I can accept that, because there's always tomorrow, right?
Yep,
It's
that's
not.
probably the worst part of it all, ain't it? Life goes on.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't like defining my entire career of what I do by like a handful of losses, right? Because
Yeah.
otherwise,
There's
you're
no. That's
only
just so heavy, man. Why you gonna hold that? You gonna hold all your
yeah,
losses. That you learn from those. You're not supposed to like hold it against yourself your entire
right.
life. That's not good for you.
Because
It's like
otherwise you
holding
won't
in a
get better.
poo. Pretty sure that's
You just
bad for
won't.
you.
Like, so my advice to if I were to go back in time and you know my acquaintances who played, I would be like, yeah, just play for fun. And if you want to be competitive, just do what you want. Do what fits you. Don't do what you think you should do. Do what you feel like you want to do.
The enlightened one, Spencer, is the final question I have for you, and doesn't have to be like the end. But what do you think is the future of the TCG? If you can look in your mind's eye, where do you think it's all going?
Hmm. Well, for starters, I think that eventually the card games will get more advanced. I want to say,
Even
not
more
advanced.
complicated.
Well, let me rephrase that. I think we're actually coming back to a time of more simplicity in card games. Um, but also, I think we're headed towards the future that we all envisioned as kids, where it's like we get to play card games and like big holograms, and we get to yell out card names and effects, and take damage from like holograms or whatever. I think eventually we'll get to that point.
Someone's gotta be on that, man. Like
Yeah,
we
somebody's got to
got
be on that
VR
shit.
chat now.
Mm-hmm.
That's a start.
Like, I think it's possible. Because, I might be fucking crazy, but I think it's possible, right? So,
My man's a
with,
dreamer.
like, with that in mind, I will say that we're going to be getting more card games. They're going to be, in the beginning, simplistic, easy to understand, pick up, but they're still deep. right?
Almost like
Um,
a deconstruction of the Yu-Gi-Oh Vanguard kind of thing, that because they become so advanced and so complicated, just sheer power scaling being there for so long. I imagine, if a new game would come out like my trading card game, it it's kind of like a deconstruction of the Yu-Gi-Oh that
yeah,
we know today. Because
right,
I go for the express purpose for it to be pick up and play, pick up and simple
right.
kind of stuff.
And I mean, like Duel Links was also supposed to be that for Yu-Gi-Oh, but I mean, it's like it like Duel Links is also considered its own thing, right? It has its own fan base. The people who want to play Yu-Gi-Oh can go play Yu-Gi-Oh. The people who want to play Duel Links play Duel Links, right? And it's like I feel like there could be something for everyone, and I think that's what card games are trying to do. Like they're trying to make the game easily digestible for the casual player or viewer, and then leave the very deep, complex rule-seeking, type gameplay for the people who enjoy it, right?
Sure.
So nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with either, right? Because sometimes you just want something to be simple so you can play, right? Now, in the case of Yu-Gi-Oh, I feel like the power creep is a little too much because I feel like they kind of, at this point, have kind of like dug themselves into a hole, like
Hmm.
where it's like, okay, well, the power scaling of the cards can only go up from here, so we're just gonna start making more outrageous shit,
Oh
right?
my god. Just keep
It's like
going vertical.
now I will say that the new mechanics of the game, as far as my understanding are concerned, with like link monsters and the new rule about field spells, were kind of meant to balance out more of how outrageous the game can get. But it still can kind of get there, but it's like it's not
It's
as bad as
getting
it used
there.
to be.
I already feel it. Sooner or later, you're gonna get freaking Mystic Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan times three superhero synchro summon, fucking Jesus, and then that will be
Jesus.
like half the meta. Just having so
Mhm.
everyone be playing that one card.
Mhm.
It's gonna be wild. We're already there,
Indeed.
but it's
Indeed.
all in like what the suits are gonna do. I'm not sure who it is that are like making these cards and everything, making thinking that synchro summoning was a good fucking idea, but you might have to get shot. I don't know, get someone new, fresh ideas. I don't know.
Feel that.
I
Feel that.
don't even play the game and I'm angry about it. I guess I might guess I'm a boomer.
I'm gonna be real with you. The game was still good when synchros were a thing, in my opinion. I actually liked the synchro era of the game. It was everything afterwards that was like just
Oh, okay.
like XYZs did not need to happen.
Are
They
you
just
doing
did not.
algebra now?
Yo, for real, because it was like, am I making alphabet soup in a card game now?
Fucking
Like, what is
Pythagorean.
this? Like,
Yeah, when the hell did I have to learn the Pythagorean theorem to fucking play Yu-Gi-Oh?
facts, facts. I'm like, this shit's ridiculous. Like, but yeah, I am optimistic about the future of card games, but also just gaming in general. I'm very optimistic about.
Oh yeah, I mean, okay. So if we're gonna talk about video games, I would think that I actually think that the future of video games, honestly, okay, because I'll tell you this. All right, before I tell you that, I'll tell you that I've seen Tekken 8. It's still in the beta version, of course. It's not all the way out, and it looks good. It looks so great, and I can imagine it's only gonna look so much better on the actual TV screen if I see it in person.
Oh,
Obviously,
facts,
yeah, big
facts.
facts. But I can tell that they still have clipping. They still have clipping in like the models. I mean, I know why it's there. So things can run smoother and everything and how it's supposed to on model. But I
Right.
feel like the future of video games would just relinquish clipping altogether from the more realistic, like feel to it, because it kind of takes me out of it. If I'm
I get
honest.
that. I get that.
Yeah, but I don't know. Because even as it stands now, going from PS4 to PS5, it's kind of like, yeah, you kind of see the updated graphics, kind of, but after a while, I think you kind of don't see the difference as much when you played for a while. But
I mean, yeah. I mean, look, I'm one of the, like, because obviously I like for my games to look pretty,
yeah,
and like because I mean that's the thing about games that gets me is like how aesthetically pleasing the game looks. But as far as fighting games are concerned, as long as the game looks decent and it's interactive and it's fun to play, like I could really care
I mean
less.
that's
Like,
what's important, obviously.
yeah,
But
like if
you know how it is. They going to the PS1 and PS2 lauded for its graphics. PS2 to PS3 lauded for its graphics. So
right,
it kind of has for me it kind of has that kind of like expectation to it, and
right.
I just feel like maybe they haven't really lived up to it. But I honestly I can't say for sure. I still don't even have my PS5. All
Oh,
right, so
so
I'm kind of talking on my ass if I'm honest.
I mean, PS5s are hard to get, bro. I don't blame you. I literally just got mine like last year.
Oh
Like,
shit,
no,
I'm
no
late.
cap.
I'm late. I know I'm late.
Like,
Is I could get
but
it. I honestly I could get it. I'm just trying to get to like a good position. The way
no,
my bank
like,
account is set up, it's like I have check-ins and a savings.
no. Bro, like, just don't even sweat it. Like, just get it when you get it. Like, I'm real broke getting it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
just
and
like,
when I get it, I'm also gonna get the VR headset with it too. That's the latest
right.
in VR technology when you think about it,
Mm-hmm,
like low key.
mm-hmm. Facts.
Well, Spencer, it's been real. I want to keep you forever and everything.
Mm.
You have been a splendid guest here on today. I don't even have a name for this podcast show. I'll brainstorm it later. It'll come up. I'll probably figure it out as soon as I figure out a good clickbait title for all
All
this.
good, bro. Feel that.
But yeah, I really appreciate it. Coming through. Hopefully, maybe we can do it again. Find something or anything to talk about. We can even talk about nothing. Content's content. Content's free. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Make sure to check out Spencer's channel. It was a really complicated name, but I'll have the link down below. And also, if you can, like and subscribe. That's really good for the algorithm gods. You need to appease them, please. Do the same for Spencer so we can move on with our fucking lives.
Yeah, facts.
And comment too. The algorithm loves that. It doesn't have to mean anything. Just comment A, B, C. Please, we need your help. Bro, we're dying out here. This is not sweet out here. All right, man.
Yeah. All right, bro.
Be at peace. Be blessed. Love you.
Be easy, homie.
Everyone, enjoy your next video.